Hello, and welcome to the League of Women Voters Candidate Forum for Northport City Commission. My name is Dr. Kitty Galicia, and I'm a director for the League of Sarasota County. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan public policy organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. Our candidate forums are held under our Education Fund, a nonpartisan 501c3 corporation with a mission of voter service and education. The League accepts both women and men as members. The League does not support or oppose political candidates or parties. Today, we welcome 6 nonpartisan candidates running for Northport City Commission. In District 1, the candidates are David Iannotti and Richard Suggs. In District 2, candidates are Barbara Langdon and Jacqueline Moore. In District 3, the candidates are Debbie McDowell and Jerry Nicastro. If you're a Northport resident and registered Sarasota County voter, you can vote in these races regardless of your party affiliation. The general election will be held Tuesday, November 3rd. Okay, let's review the forum rules. The forum will be recorded and posted on our website and other media outlets as determined by the League. The recording is the property of the League. Written permission must be sought for the use of this video, which will not be edited or altered. Every candidate will be asked the same question. Candidates should answer my first question and last question within 1.5 minutes. All other questions will be answered in 1 minute. Our timer will display a warning when 15 seconds remain and a red stop when time is up. I will rotate which candidate begins answering by district. Our questions were developed by the Sarasota League and submitted by voters. Any opinions expressed tonight are those of the candidates and not of the League of Women Voters of Sarasota County. This forum will be conducted without rebuttal. We ask all candidates to speak only for themselves and not to provide insight into their opponents. We look to candidates to help us understand their policy questions, problem-solving skills, and values so that we can make better choices and informed voters, better choices as informed voters. Now, to begin, the order for the first question will be Mr. Iannotti, Mr. Suggs, then Ms. Langdon, Ms. Moore, Ms. McDowell, and Mr. Nicastro. The first question is, please introduce yourself and describe your qualifications to be elected to Northport City Commission.
Thank you, Kathleen, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. My name is David Iannotti. I've lived in Northport since 2005 at the same address, and I'm running primarily as a concerned citizen. I've seen a lot of things in the 15 years I've lived here that haven't particularly sat well with me. I think we need a balanced voice on the commission, and I think I can provide that balanced voice on the commission. I think we need to, as we grow, make sure that we're doing it smart so we can assure long-term prosperity for the citizens of Northport. I think that we need to see when we look at any kind of spending in the city that we're doing it responsibly and that we're living within the means just like our citizens do. As for me personally, in terms of qualifications, I have a long business history in sales management. I've managed $15, $20 million budgets and multiple employees, 10, 15 employees. So I have a lot of interpersonal skills working with all sorts of different people and problem resolution skills. And I really look to bring that to the board as a voice of reason and one of 5 commissioners. So again, my take on this is, as a citizen who's been here for 15 years, I want to make sure that the city is geared for long-term prosperity for not only all of us that are here right now, but for future generations in Northport. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Richard Suggs.
Thank you so very much for having us here tonight, and I want to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on. My name is Rich Suggs. I am a candidate for Commission District 1. That means I have to live in that district. If you are a member of or a citizen of Northport, you can vote for any one of us 6 candidates for our districts. I have lived in Northport since 2012. I've lived in Florida since 1984. I have been a long-term resident of Florida. And I will tell you, Northport is one of those places that just kind of gets under your skin. You just learn to love it, and I did from the moment I came here. But I also see this as the prospect of being the premier city in Southwest Florida. And right now we need leadership. Some of the decisions that we're going to have coming before this commission is going to have generational effect. We're going to have to deal with a situation with our city manager. We're going to have to deal with our neighbors to the west that don't really want to be part of Northport. We have to address that. And we have COVID budget coming down the road. We need serious experience, and I have that. I have an MBA. I have worked in accounting and tax for the last 28 years. I am talking about making budgets and following budgets. I look for your vote on November 3rd.
Thank you, Rick. And Barbara Langdon.
Great, thank you, Kathleen. My husband Tom and I moved to Northport in 2014 from New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire has a great tree canopy, and I think one of the things that attracted us here to Northport are the wonderful trees. Since moving here, I restarted my digital marketing company, Market Momentum, and I've been helping small businesses ever since use the internet to grow and be profitable. I've also given back to the community by serving on Northport's Economic Development Advisory Board, donating my time counseling small businesses as a SCORE mentor, and coaching and teaching social media to Goodwill's Micro Enterprise Program. I have an extensive educational background. I worked my way through school. I have an undergraduate degree in psychology. I have a master's degree in city planning and in business. And I have an extensive background working for large companies, managing teams and large budgets. I feel as though my life has been spent in preparation to becoming your next city commissioner from District 2. So if you want a commissioner ready to fight for you for day one, vote for me. I'm Barbara Langdon, candidate for Northport City Commission in District 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. Jacqueline Moore.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Hello, I'm Jacqueline Moore, and I am a native Floridian. My husband Hugh and I have lived in Northport for going on 16 years. And, excuse me, we fell in love with Northport and moved here after raising our blended family in the Atlanta metro area. I had a 30-plus year career in corporate America in every entity except legal. I have leadership and management experience to this day. I have my own small business as a consultant and trainer in the areas of leadership development, civility, communication, and organizational effectiveness. I feel like it's a time. A portal has opened, and I am willing, and I have a love of this city and a love of the people and the organizations here to bring my experience and my belief that it's time for deep, values-based conversations about our future, about what that looks like, about what kinds of policies we need to have. I'm going to pay strict attention to the financials, but our challenge is bringing our community together. We are 104 square miles, we're spread out, we have challenges and opportunities there, and the uncertainty that we're all experiencing is something that unless we come together to figure it out, will have a lingering effect. Thank you for the league to have us here tonight, and it's just great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Debbie McDowell.
Thank you very much, everyone, for having this forum, especially to the League of Women Voters and to the citizens who are joining us tonight. I am Debbie McDowell, and I am a native of Chicago. I graduated from Robert Morris College, which is a technical college that specializes in secretarial and office administration. After college, I landed a great job in downtown Chicago, where I was there for about 7 or 8 years. And then I moved to Florida, where I met my husband. He's a wonderful guy. We bought our first home in 1992 with our 2 young sons in tow in this sleepy little town called Northport. And it's been absolutely amazing to watch the changes since 1992 that has happened in Northport since we arrived. I've been raising the children, quite busy working, volunteering with a lot of organizations that the kids were involved with. My professional experience is bookkeeping, human resources, customer service, office administration, and all of those has helped set the stage for me to be your commissioner. I am actually going on my 2nd term. Was elected to my 1st term in 2016, and my fellow commissioners appointed me as a vice mayor and currently as the mayor of our amazing city. During my first campaign, I did 3 promises. I would be respectful, I would be approachable, and I would be accountable. And I've kept those promises.
Thank you, Debbie.
And sorry, I didn't see the yellow thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry Nicastro.
Hi, I'm Jerry Castro. I want to say thank you to Women's Voters, thank you to the citizens, and thank you to all of you, and to my fellow candidates. I've lived here in Northport just about 2 decades. Myself and my wife, Jamie, we raised our children here, grandchildren. We've seen many things happen for the positive and many things happen for the negative here in our beautiful city. The reason I am running is I am sick of the dirty politics and the behind-the-scenes situations that happen that the public don't see. It's time that we get people in office that are for the people and take back our government once again run by the people. It's the people's money that is being spent and misused, and we need to bring that to a halt and bring leadership back into City Hall to fix things. The main thing we have to do is we have to work on the budget. We have to get that to make sense. Without the budget properly being taken care of, nothing can be done. I'm a person for this job. I have leadership skills through the courts, advocating on children's lives day in and day out, through the guardian ad litem as well as victim advocacy. I've worked in the clerk of court's office in different areas in domestic violence unit and other units, not only helping out with, helping save people's lives and making their lives better, but at the same time too, in leadership roles where I've actually run different departments and take care of things. I own my own businesses here in Florida as well as up north.
Thank you, Jerry.
I work for me and my leadership has proven.
Thank you, Jerry. Our next question. Describe your vision of the ideal Northport in 2025. How would the city be different than it is today? The first candidate is Jacqueline Moore.
Thank you. So my vision of an ideal Northport in 2025, one thing is, so I have a minute. One thing is that we have significantly greater engagement from citizens of all generations and all levels. Really, the youth are the future, and we need to involve them in significant ways that we do not have them now. We need to be radically raising the level of our stewardship about the environment. We need to have citizens coming in droves to volunteer, to help be part of the processes that are going to keep our natural environment thriving as well. And we need to focus, the city needs to be a facilitator of focusing on the thriving well-being of people. I'm sure I'll talk more about that in a future question. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Barbara Langdon is next.
Great, thank you, Kathleen. For me, the ideal Northport in 5 years, we would be well on our way to attracting businesses with good paying jobs here to the city. I've been campaigning for over a year now, and I've talked with, I think, hundreds of people about what their concerns and what their hopes and dreams are. And for many people, they just want to be able to go to sleep at night, not worrying about whether they will pay their rent or mortgage or feed their families that month. So I want companies here with good paying jobs so that our 35,000 workers have great career opportunities right here in Northport. I'll also keep an eye on our spending to make sure we're spending on essential things and not things that are nice to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Jerry Nicastro is next.
Northport in 2025 is a hospital and medical district, but not just any kind of hospital, where young youths and minds from around the world can come here, learn to be medical professionals, and give back to our community. And entertainment families can go out and have a good time, as well as spend money in our community. And by spending money, we all succeed, because that's more money that's taken in to our city government and to our economy. Bringing folks home to work in our city by attracting better paying jobs here, so that way people can take advantage, they can stay home, and they can help lay down grassroots for future generations to come. And a government that shows its citizens that they care and helps them save money by making sure that the budget is done correctly and budgeted correctly, so people save money and can afford to get good things and put more food on the table to take care of each other. A government that's run by the citizens and for the citizens.
Thank you, Jerry. The next speaker will be Debbie McDowell.
Good question. 2025 is only 4 years away. My gosh. First thing I would like to see is city water and city sewer extended to the I-75 corridors. That will bring us good jobs with that infrastructure in place. The ULDC hopefully will be completed in these next 4 years. We need to improve the relationship with all of the citizens in Northport, help educate them on how government actually works, and improve the relationship with the citizens of Welland Park and all of the other small communities within our city. And of course, I hope in 4 years we have a hospital provider that would like to call Northport their home.
Thank you, Debbie. Rick Suggs.
Thank you so much. My motto for my whole campaign has been to develop Northport into a city where you can learn, live, work, and play all in the same city. We have, unfortunately, 24,000 people leaving our fair city every day to go find work. I want to change that, obviously, through attracting great paying jobs. We have had a really great run at retail type jobs, but we need really good paying jobs. And that is not going to happen unless we go out and look for them. So I would like to see a more vibrant economic development group. We have 100,000 acres directly north. I think we need to look at making that a preserve so that we do not suffer the same fate as the North County, where it's built out to, nobody else can fit in. And, I just like to see Northport being the premier city in Southwest Florida.
Thank you, Rick. Dave, are you muted?
Okay, I couldn't hear you, Kathleen. Am I going now?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, great. So all of the things I'd like to see in 5 years are basically all lead to one thing. First, the budget, we reduce our long-term liabilities. We've made some spending decisions, I think, that are going to saddle us down the road. So we need to get a hold of those expenses, and that's primary job number one, really. The second thing is that we make infrastructure investments where we need those. And the third thing would be that our neighborhood value is protected. This plays into how houses are actually built in Northport and leaving some of our suburban character intact, which I think is very important for property values and the desirability of Northport as a place both for families to relocate and businesses. And that would be the fourth thing, which would be jobs, more jobs. Now, we're not going to close $23,000 job deficit, 23,000 job deficit in 4.5 years, but hopefully we can make some progress in that respect, because that's very important long term.
Thank you, David. The next question. The Northport City Commission has lowered property taxes. in light of a possible 2020 to 2021 budget shortfall due to the coronavirus, if elected, what steps would you take to balance the budget? And the first question is directed to Debbie McDowell.
Our city's budget is required to be balanced by state statute. So the budget is balanced. Now, we are going to have some serious shortfalls. This has been a concern of mine since April of this year when I brought forth a discussion on how can we save some money. We have to cut a lot of the expenses. We have to really look at the budget and cut spending, cut some wasteful spending. Stop replacing vehicles every 6 years just because they met the end of their useful life. We have to look at salaries. We have to look at how many employees are we going to freeze hiring. There's a lot of things that we need to do to prepare for the 21/22 budget. And I have the experience to do this. I've already been doing it for 4 years.
Thank you, Debbie. Jerry Nicastro? And Jerry, you're muted. Thank you.
Hi, I'm back. I'm here. Sorry about that. Well, first thing we do have to do is go and look at it, and state statute, it does have to be balanced. But personally, I don't feel it is. Personally, I don't feel it is budgeted correctly. We have a lot of wasteful spending throughout our government that we have to go line by line, go over it, and then put it back together again. And by doing that, find out what departments, what areas, or where we need to be at by cutting what we need to do and by trimming the fat. And anybody can say, but until you actually look at that budget and you go over that budget, anybody can promise you the world. But that budget is going to be the key issue in deciding what gets cut or where we go from there. But or if we have to put a freeze on hiring, or do we have to take other steps to cut programs or different things throughout that with the city, which God, hopefully we don't have to do. Nobody wants to do that because the people in this city depend on their jobs and taking care of their people. Wants to do that. We have to find out. We have to fix the budget.
Thanks, Jerry. The next, David Iannotti.
So this is an important matter, and it's one that can be uncomfortable to discuss. But just like when you have to make a firing decision when you're a manager of a department, you have to take the same approach when you look at line items in a budget, and that is this creating a positive return for the city? So there really needs to be some sober discussions in regards to our budget, our expenditures, and where cuts can be made. Really, in the time I've lived here, the city has never had any true meaningful reduction in its size, and that would be true for even during the Great Recession in 2008. So we really need to be serious about that. And I also think we have to be creative as well. So there may be opportunities for public-private partnerships in certain areas. We have to keep all of our options on the table, but we need to be able to stick to our principles of being financially responsible, just like our citizens need to be.
Thank you, David. Rick Suggs?
Thank you so much. Listen, we are getting ready to be faced with something no one has gone through in this lifetime, and that is a COVID budget. We budget for about a 5% non-collecting on our property taxes. There's some studies out there saying that could be 20% easily. We're already facing shortfalls from the county and from the state. What I would like to do is go through each department. We are self-insured for our health insurance. I have already got a plan in place that I have already started talking to different commissioners and the city manager about bringing in a new third-party administrator. Could save us 20% on every single dollar. I've talked to fleet. We have 5 different diesel engines. Each one of those have to have software to be able to run. There is just so much fat in these budgets, and I will make sure that there's looked at.
Thank you, Rick. Barbara Langdon?
Thanks, Kathleen. I would much rather focus on the revenue side of the budget and stimulate economic development, but I agree with my colleagues. I think we're going to face some tough decisions in the upcoming year. So the kinds of things I will look at as your next commissioner is to improve the efficiency of our operations. Are we doing things in the speediest and least intensive way? Are we automating where we should be automating? Are we eliminating redundant or top-heavy positions? We're really going to have to make some tough staffing decisions next year. I also want to challenge our staff to break even with our assets. Our community centers lose $500,000 a year each. Our aquatic center is scheduled to lose about $600,000, $700,000 a year. I'd like to see those assets breaking even within the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Jacqueline Moore?
Thank you. One reason I'm running is because I believe that, like every system in the world, local government needs to look at itself and ask, what should we be doing differently in the 21st century? Now we also have this COVID experience, which my colleagues have alluded to, that we all know we have never been through before. To me, the wisdom is in the people, and we need to shift from being very focused, heads down, inside City Hall in the budget, and we need to get out into the community and do town halls all over creation over the next month, taking every possible opportunity to invite, listen to, and factor in the needs and wants of our community. I believe this is the way of the future. I think engaging people builds commitment, it builds understanding, and frankly, better thinking will happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you very much. The next question. The commission recently voted to raise impact fees to 100% of the suggested level of the 2011 impact fee study. According to a more recent study, Northport could legally raise impact fees to twice that amount. What is your position on the impact fee decision? And the first person to speak here will be Rick Suggs.
Okay, I will go on record to saying I'm 100% in favor of the 100% that the commission has done. I will say this, and I look at it as an accountant, I would never want to buy a car and expect you to pay for my maintenance and upkeep. And I think that's what we're doing when we have houses coming in and they're not willing to or able to maintain the impact that they will have. I'm not so sure that I believe in the study. I would like to get our stakeholders involved in determining whether or not that study that they just did is valid for Northport. We are in competition with other people around here. So, you know, the opposite effect will happen. If you raise your impact fees too much, people will not come. And yes, that is a way of reducing growth, but probably not the way that you would want to reduce growth. I would look at and see what it's going to take to maintain our roads and our infrastructure.
Thank you, Rick. David Ionati?
So impact fees are calculated using by very specialized firms that have to produce reports that are legally defensible. So this is a very complex and detailed process to create these figures. I believe everybody should pay their fair share, plain and simple. Nobody should be paying for someone else. And in the case of impact fees, Northport has been doing that for well over 2 decades. That is basically being the cheap date, and that's the best way I can phrase it. We need to make sure that we're responsible with our natural resources. We need to be managing them properly, and we cannot pass on the bill to the taxpayers, because if we continue to do that, that burden is going to grow and grow as our liabilities from our spending grow. So I am in favor of impact fees being set to either 100% of what they should be or in the 90% region, just for being responsible in terms of potential lawsuits.
Thank you, David. Jacqueline Moore?
Thank you. I agree with the Commission's decision to raise the impact fees to the 2011 level. And I commend Mayor McDowell and the current Commission for voting to delay voting on or further discussing the proposed 2020 impact fee study, because again, we need transformational thinking. We need to bring the stakeholders to the table. We need to learn to communicate and listen in ways to better understand the needs and wants of our community, the needs and wants of the business community, and get on the same page of understanding about what are impact fees, how are they assessed, what does that have to do with my individual circumstances or with the situation with businesses. It's a great opportunity, it's a new day, and we need new conversations about what they should be.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Barbara Langdon?
Thanks, Kathleen. Boy, I think we all seem to be in violent agreement. I am supportive of the Commission's decision to raise our impact fees to 100% of the 2011 recommendation. I did take a close look at the latest consultant plan, and I believe the model is flawed. We don't have time to go into that in a minute. But I think one of the biggest challenges facing our city is infrastructure. That includes the infrastructure controlling the water flow of our canal waterway systems, as well as bringing city water and sewerage to the individual platted lots throughout the city. So long term, we need to make sure that whatever we're collecting in impact fees enables us to achieve those two goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Jerry Nicastro? Jerry?
I'm in favor of due to the study. I do feel that we should still reevaluate things just to make certain that we're making the right decision. I always feel that just like when you're in school, you double check your homework. Even though a study was done, yes, we should still recheck it and make sure that everything matches up and everything's good to go. But could the impact fees help out the city make more money and help take care of the deficit? A little bit, yeah, it could and it should. So yes, impact fees are important, but we can't make it in such a manner where we're just relying on impact fees and the public's paying more and more on permits, on building, as well as the contractors, because eventually what will happen is that'll drive people away. So as much as I am for it, we still have to be cautious that we don't hurt businesses as well as our citizens.
Thank you, Jerry. Debbie McDowell?
As the ringleader a couple of years ago when I brought forth the increasing impact fees from the 42.5% to the 75% and now to the 100%, I am so grateful that my fellow commissioners decided to hold off on this new study, the 2020 study. We need to hear from our stakeholders. We need to talk to businesses that are going to be coming into Northport and calling Northport home, because their needs are changing because of COVID. And we don't want to stop that growth. And we have to make sure that doubling the impact fees we don't want to shut down any businesses from coming here. So we have to take this very carefully. And I think the step in the right direction was to raise it to the 100% and take time to really look at it before we raise it to anything recommended in 2020 studies.
Thank you, Debbie. Our next question. According to a May 13, 2019 article in the Herald Tribune, Northport has more than 16,300 lots currently on well and septic, with another 28,300 potential lots, with a goal to hook most of the city up to water and sewer. Do you support this project, and how would you propose to finance the project? The first speaker will be Barbara Langdon.
Thanks, Kathleen. That's a great question, and one of the key elements of my campaign I think coming up with a plan regarding how we are going to implement water and sewerage in the city of Northport, including how are we going to pay for it, is really important. Some communities have done a really good job of attracting grant money to offset some of those costs. Others have implemented creative long-term ways of having individual residences pay for hooking up to and implementing water and sewerage long-term in their taxes. I think we need to look at all of those things. And this is definitely an area where we need to engage our citizens, educate them on the importance of that infrastructure, and working together to figure out a palatable way of financing that project. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Jacqueline Moore.
Thank you. We absolutely need a plan, and when the strategic planning process begins in 2021, I'm confident that will be a top priority. Everything we're talking about in terms of attracting businesses and how critical that is indeed to boost our economy, as well as help to sustain and improve the quality of life for our residents, is going to require that we have a plan, the funding, the mechanisms, and then the shared understanding around our community of what the timeline is and how we're going to move toward updated and infrastructure in terms of water and sewer. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Debbie McDowell.
No secret that my first plan of attack is to get the interstates, have that city water and city sewer hooked up out there at the interstates. As far as the individual lots for each property owner, it sounds wonderful to say we need to do septic and sewer and well and city water. But that comes at a price tag, and I'm sorry, the citizens do not have the $30,000 to $40,000 to hook up to city water and city sewer in their bank account to hook that up, and that's what it's going to cost. That's their share. Then the city also has to pay to lay down those pipes. It is a very expensive endeavor, and it sounds wonderful, and it's pie in the sky to say we're going to convert the septics and to sewers and have everybody on city water. It's very, very expensive, but I am willing to look at options to see how it can be financed.
Thank you, Debbie. Jerry Nicastro.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, off there for a second. Well, as much as it's a great idea to have city water and sewer throughout the whole city, realistically, that's not possible without trying to make the taxpayers pay for that. And I feel that the taxpayers should not have to pay the full burden of that, nor should they take on that responsibility. So we would have to find for ways to make sure that the taxpayers are not paying for this. And also find a more productive way, such as maybe government grants or different programs through the federal government that we may qualify for to help offset some of the cost of this, so that way the taxpayer is not taking on the full burden of this situation. And nor should they.
Thank you, Jerry. David Iannotti.
This is a very important long-term and not so long-term issue, and it really underscores the importance of our budget being sound, because one of the ways you can finance something like water and sewer expansion is with a bond, and the rates that you're charged for a bond are going to be directly tied to the city's fiscal health. So our budget underlies really our options when we discuss this. There are ways of minimizing the impact to the homeowner, or basically spreading it out through assessments, where there might be an initial fee for lines run to a property, and then there's an assessment collected annually through taxes. I think when we talk about sewer, there's a couple things we need to think about. One, it needs to be prioritized for business infrastructure and environmentally sensitive areas. So that would always be first before we talk about this gigantic endeavor of trying to have every single family lot in Northport hooked up, which would take decades. It would be billions of dollars. One thing I will assure is that it is done in a way that does not leave a future liability for sewage spills, which we've seen so much of in Florida, which is just detrimental.
Thank you. Rick Suggs?
Thank you for that question. Listen, this is where you have to have forward thinking and outside the box thinking. There are plenty of foundations, there are retirement systems, there are all sorts of money out there that people would like to basically not lose their principal. So they will put into municipal projects like that. It's called tax incremental funding. We need to look at things of that nature. We need to look at the federal government is talking about having an infrastructure project or a bill. You know, we need to be having our Washington representatives knowing that Northport is like that. The federal government and the state government could, in very short order, mandate us to put it. If that happens, now all of a sudden it's, oh my God, what are we going to do? We need to have a plan. We need to start now. We need to think outside the box.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks very much, all of you. You're doing wonderful. The next question, how would you address the financial and management concerns regarding the Northport Aquatic Center? And the first responder will be Jerry Nicastro.
Well, once again, the first thing we have to do is look and find out how much money we're taking a loss in due to the aquatic center. I personally would have never invested in the aquatic. I felt that partnered with business, an outside business, where they should have taken care of the financial responsibility, because I don't think the city should have got involved in the entertainment business. I feel it was a waste of taxpayers' funds. And as a result, right now we're suffering, and that's why we're hurting with the budget too. Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to look at the budget. We have to find we're taking a loss and what we can do to recoup. Maybe taking on a partner such as business that is willing to take care of help up some of the financial burden of that, and maybe run the water park. Business that has experience in entertainment as well as water park, or bring in somebody that is knowledgeable on how to operate this business, so we can turn it positive. Because right now we have people that are running this that really have no background in this form of operation, that are not really.
Thank you very much. Debbie McDowell.
The water park opened late, and we were hoping to be able to have a full summer in, but that didn't happen. This year we got COVID. We don't have a first year's numbers of how much revenue is being generated, nor do we have the first year's projections of users. We need to get that first year under our belt to be able to see how to fix the revenues or how to cut any of the expenses. Possibly expand hours, shorten hours. There's a lot of things that we need to look at, but we need that first year baseline to be able to really make a solid decision on what we're going to do. We don't know it's losing any money, just like we don't know that it's making any money. It's going to take that first year's numbers to take a look at it. We have revenues coming in for users for the water polo, the high school. They're going to be paying to be able to use the aquatic center, which will then help our revenues. And there's not enough time.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Rick Suggs.
Okay, well, listen, for the longest time, Northport could not attract businesses to do some of the things that the citizens wanted. So the city felt like it was necessary for them to do it. Just since we have opened up, there has, right across the border in Westport, the new development in Charlotte County, they're putting in I think it's a 15-acre or 50-acre or something water park. So guess what? We're going to be competing with that. I do believe other municipalities have pools, but they don't run them. You look at the city of Venice, they have a municipal pool, but the city does not run that. Orlando has 4. They don't run any of them. So yet they are considered municipal pools. We just need to find someone that is able to, and like she said, a minute is not enough time to figure all that out. But I do have a plan by which somebody will come in and take over the management of that.
Thank you, Ray. David Ionati.
Yeah, so what should we do to manage a potential long-term financial liability? Well, we should do anything and everything that we can do, and that could include attracting as many different people to use the facility, whether it's polo or some other event, I don't know, but anything should be on the table in terms of what we can actually use the property for. So events, can we have themed events on holidays at the park? I'm sure there's lots of different marketing things we could do there, but we should also explore how it's managed and potentially divesting from it entirely. Whatever we can, we should look at. It's not something I would have ever voted for. It's one of the things that made me want to run. I'm not for it. I don't believe the government should be involved in water slides. So we should do everything we can to limit the damage it causes financially.
Thank you, David. Jacqueline Moore.
Yes, thank you. One thing that characterizes thriving people in a thriving community is the ability to figure challenges out. So the reality is we have the pool. I have really enjoyed talking with people on the campaign trail, oodles of people. People feel very passionately if they're not for it, and they feel very passionately if they are for it. And so the opportunity is to say, we have it. What are our options? Let's get as much great thinking from the community as we can, but we have to start with the belief of 2 things. One, this is not a we versus they, we got to be in a war about the aquatic center because that is not healthy for our community. And the other is that there is a solution, but it's going to be a process. I agree with the mayor. We need the data. We don't want to just be doing things because it feels like it's the right thing in the moment. So let's get that and let's have tremendous civic engagement about what the options are, because there's a lot of information and experience in our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Barbara Langdon.
I guess last but not least, I wish I had something really unique to share, but I'll probably echo my colleagues here. Again, I mentioned earlier, we have some wonderful assets. An aquatic center is something wonderful for the community to have. I think we do know it's going to operate at a loss. Pre-COVID, we were estimating $500,000-$600,000 a year, and we know that. So there are 3 things we can do. I think we need to get really aggressive in marketing our assets. We have some wonderful assets in the city of Northport, and I hear people say all the time that we're one of the best kept secrets on the west coast of Florida. So let's get aggressive. Let's really impact our utilization rates and fill that aquatic center every day. We need to evaluate management options. Is there a way we can manage that facility at a lower cost, and really plan for that? Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. The next question. If elected, what actions will you take to inspire greater voter confidence in the Northport City Commission? And David Ionati, will you start?
It's a good question. I would advocate for the commission meetings to be all in the evening. It's something that I've wanted the entire time I've lived here, and it's something that I would fight for on the commission. I don't believe that a community with an average age in the mid-40s should be holding their government meetings at 1 o'clock in the middle of the day. It's just not fair. It's basically shutting the stakeholders out. You're shutting the citizens out. It's non-representative. So more than anything, that is what I would do to restore confidence in the government, which is to push to have our meetings all in the evening. And I also think we should have more community workshops. We've had those on a couple of different items in the past, and there's been good turnout. And those are typically on weekends, afternoons, multiple dates. We need to do things like that to actually accommodate our citizens. So this is a government by the people, for the people.
Thank you, David. Rick Suggs?
Well, we live in a world of different technology. Businesses are having to go to the Zoom meeting. And I do believe any way and every way we can encourage people to participate is an important thing. But I would also mandate the technology of eliminating the need to request with a burdensome system of our information. We have the technology to do that. We should, if you have nothing to hide, you should be able to have your emails transparent. I would push for something of that nature. I do believe everything, you need to be open to the citizens. I don't agree with everything everybody says, but listen, I'll listen to you. And if you can convince me, guess what? I'll change my mind.
Thanks, Rick. Barbara?
Thank you, Kathleen. To restore faith in our city government, we need to be professional, data-driven, and in touch with our constituencies so that they can anticipate how we will decide on things. We need to have an agreed to code of ethics and code of behavior. We should be really clear on what is guiding our decision making so that it doesn't appear or isn't based on a personal prejudice or a vested interest among a group of people in the city. And I think if we start being consistent and sensitive and data-driven in the way we approach our decision-making, our citizens will band around us and be very supportive of our future directions. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Jacqueline Moore?
Thank you. We're talking about relationships at the heart of everything. And in order for us to reconnect with each other in our community, we are going to have to do some different things. And I'm advocating for consistent and multiple town hall type approach, at least for the next several months to a year. We don't even know what the COVID budget implications are going to be, and we're definitely going to need to be out and having conversations. It's just a time where we need to flip the script. We need to go to the people. We need to go with the ideas, with our open ears, with our open hearts. But we need to lead every conversation, which we don't do right now, with how are you? We need to be really showing our people that we care about them. And that is a city's just people. So we need to, I think, lead with the heart and lead with the information, the facts, to make the best decisions.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Debbie McDowell?
I love this question. It's one of my passions. In order to have faith, the citizens to have faith in their government, they have to understand how their government works. Everybody comes from somewhere else. They don't even understand how districting works or what the mayor's responsibilities are. We have to teach the citizens how government works, from the government to the budget to how planning and land use works. I held a series called Northport Government and You last year where I taught 40 citizens, and they walked out of there very, very happy to have understood a lot more than what they did when they came in. Holding town halls. I held over 25 town halls with HOAs, with various community groups and organizations. It is imperative that we communicate with our citizens and build those relationships and help educate them and answer their questions on their terms, not on ours.
Thank you, Debbie. Jerry Nicastro?
Hi. Good question. In order to build relationships between the government and the community, there has to be trust. And once again, we have to reestablish trust. Where trust is broken, it's hard for anyone to come around and to say, hey, I can trust this one, I can trust that one. We have citizens' investments being misused and money being spent foolishly. We have utility complexes, people trying to put those in areas that are flood zones and mishandled. We have situations at the West Villages with alleged situations out there where trust gets broken and people have issues. But the bottom line is it all goes back to listening to the people and building a relationship between us and them, and letting them know that we care, treating them like family, and making sure that their voices are always heard. And us remembering as elected officials that we're here to do a job for them because they put us there and they come first and they're the boss. And that's what we need to do. It's a short-term position by the people, for the people.
Thank you very much. Great questions. Great questions. Now we're going to summarize for us, why voters should elect you to the Northport City Commission. You'll have 1.5 minutes to answer this question, and we'll start with Jacqueline Moore.
Thank you. 2020 has been an unforgettable year in so many ways. There's been a lot of heartbreak, there's a lot of uncertainty, and on the flip side of this coin of life, of course, a lot of creativity and a lot of growth. We in our beloved city are so full of potential, and we have so much work to do together to reach that potential and to thrive. With your help, I'll be ready to hit the ground running when sworn in on November 14th. I am asking for your vote. I will focus on our well-being and on unifying our city. Bringing people together is central to my mission of my life. And frankly, it is the work I have been doing most of my professional life. My website is morefornorthport.com. There's a lot of information about my background. I've been working a long time serving people and organizations and donors who are supporting me, to whom I am so grateful. I ask you to give me the opportunity to serve as your city commissioner. I come with an open mind to listen to you and a motivation to help our city be the best it can be. I give you my word that I will work hard for you and with you and make you a proud resident of Northport. Thank you again to the League for hosting this.
Thank you, Jacqueline Moore. Barbara Langdon.
Thanks, Kathleen. You know, in the relatively short time that I've been here in Northport, a little over 6 years, I have so fallen in love with the city and its people. And I very much want to get our city on the path to future prosperity. So if you elect me as your next city commissioner from District 2, I will work very hard to bring good paying jobs here to Northport. I'll work really hard for our local businesses, helping them be successful and to grow and to add more jobs for our workers. I'll work with city staff to motivate them and hold them accountable for really wonderful things, and for making our city easy to do business with for companies that want to come here or grow here. And I'll be hyper vigilant on keeping our taxes under control by stimulating the revenue side of our budget, by bringing those good jobs here and making sure that we're investing taxpayer dollars in things that will really put us on the path to prosperity. So to accomplish this, I'll need your support. I invite you to learn more about me on my website, voteforbarbaralangdon.com. Thank you so very much for having me tonight.
Thank you, Barbara Langdon. Jerry Nicastro.
Thank you. Decades here. Raised my family here, and I wouldn't have stayed here if I didn't believe in the city, and I didn't believe that all of these incredible people in this city, to me, are family. And when you have a family, you do what you need to do to take care of them, to make sure that they don't go without and that their needs and wants are met. You don't disrespect them. You don't lie to them. And you don't make up innuendo and vicious gossip and rumors about individuals either. In order to get ahead in the city, you treat people the way you expect to be treated. And you tell them if they want to hear it, you tell them if they don't want to hear it. It's called being truthful and being accountable. And that's what we need to bring back to city government. As everybody here has said, the government for the people and by the people. My name is Jerry Castro. And if you want to find out more about me, it's jerryfornorthport.com, or you can call me directly. I'll talk with you day and night. I'm the person in this position because we need new blood in office. People that are going to do the job and not make excuses.
Thank you, Jerry Nicastro. Debbie McDowell?
You know, tonight you guys asked some really great questions, and obviously the answers in 1 minute, it just isn't enough time. The issues are complex. The solutions are just as complex. If anything these past 4 years of serving as a commissioner has taught me is the wheels of government move very slowly, but there's unlimited possibilities. I do my homework before each meeting. I understand what is being discussed. I understand the budget. I don't rubber stamp anything. It's foolish to think anybody's going to agree with 100% of my votes. My husband and I don't agree with all my votes either. I will remain respectful. I will remain accountable, and I will remain approachable in these next 4 years if I am elected to be the commissioner. I have the experience, I have the desire, and I have the tenacity to continue working for the citizens of Northport. And I hope I earned your vote for a second term. If you would like to learn more about me, you can go to my website, which is mcdowell2020.com, or better yet, just give me a call. I'd love to meet you for coffee and have a real conversation. Thank you again to the forum, and great questions.
Thank you, Debbie McDowell. Richard Suggs?
Thank you so very much to the League of Women Voters for having us out here tonight. And I hope we've been able to answer some of your questions. Again, 1 minute is just way too short to get in depth in any one of the things. So I ask Rich, the number 4, northport2020@gmail.com, as that's my email address. Please, I'll answer anything. I do have a plan, and let me tell you something. The commission is going to face some generational decisions coming up really soon. And I have got the experience not only working with the city through the chamber and with the Community Economic and Business Advisory Board. I've been on there for almost 3 years, so I have experience working with the city. Yes, I am looking forward to having more business, but listen, we're 104 square miles. We've got enough room to make everybody happy. I am not in favor of tearing down every single thing and putting up a parking lot. That is not who Rich Suggs is. And if you knew anything about me, you would know that. I drive a Prius. My goodness. Yes, I got a Trump sticker, but I've got a Prius. And I will tell you, I am looking forward, and I am eager, and I am passionate about helping this be the premier city in Southwest Florida.
Thank you, Richard. David Iannotti?
Thank you very much to the League of Women Voters for having us and giving us this great opportunity to speak to the citizens of Northport. It is truly an honor. I got involved in this race because I care deeply about the city that I live in and call home. Northport's a beautiful place. We have lots of things to be proud of here. We have fascinating archaeological sites with evidence of ancient man. We have access to the county's most pristine preserved lands. We have Northport or Myakka State Forest, which is in Northport's boundaries. We have access to the beautiful Myakka River. And we still have a suburban character that so many people who live here love. Our business tax base is growing. It needs to grow, and it will continue to grow. What's important is that we have people that know how to manage it smartly, that make decisions that are for the good of everybody long term. If I'm elected as your commissioner, I will bring my principles to the position. I'll be one of 5 commissioners. I will work with the other commissioners. I will always listen to both sides, or all 3 sides, or all 4 sides, whatever the case may be. I believe in balance. I don't believe in far right or far left. I believe that solutions don't have parties, and that we need to make sure that we're doing the smart thing for the citizens of the city. And that's why I've talked about from day one, long-term prosperity. And again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Northport. Thank you.
Thank you, David Iannotti. Thank you to all of the participants, the candidates. We appreciate you being here with us. Thanks to our volunteers, including Carol Hartz, Nancy Morrison, Villia Johnson, Linda Thompson, and Bob Burgess. And audience, if you were unable to ask your questions, please contact the candidates campaign using our vote411.org voter resource website to follow up. Finally, remember that your vote is your voice. The Sarasota League thanks you for being with us, and have a good night.